I am driving on Old Ore Road to my campsite, Ernst Tinaja, which is right next to Ernst Tinaja, this large bowl full of water that's surrounded by amazing geology. So I will camp there tonight, and in the morning do the short hike to the Tinaja, and I'll show it to you guys. This road is very rough. I'm basically going 5 miles an hour, and I've got my Jeep in 4 high. I don't need 4 low for this, but it's slow going. It's mostly downhill, so I've got the Jeep in neutral. I drive a manual. Well, here we are. This is our campsite. So let's go in. Here's our campsite. I think there are a couple here. I'm at campsite number 1. So let's see. I think this is it. Yeah. Number 1. ET1. That's where I'm at. All right. This is where we're camping tonight. This is a nice camp spot, so I'm going to pitch my tent right there. It's very flat. And this is what it looks like. The Tinaja is down that way. We'll go to it in the morning. But I have a nice open sky to the west over there. That's west right there, and north would be right there. So the sun is going to rise from over there in the morning. If I wake up early enough, I'll film it. And it's a clear night, so I should be able to get a lot of star pictures and time lapses of the sky, dark sky. I love doing that, as I'm sure you've seen in many of my videos. Okay, let me set up the tent. There we are, all set up. I'm not sure I'm going to put the fly on. It's not going to rain, but it will get cool. I think the forecast is for 48 degrees. I prefer not to sleep with the fly on, but this time I think I will, because I'm using a very warm sleeping bag, R5.5, because my other two have a leak. So I'm going to use a very warm sleeping bag, but a quilt rated for 50 degrees. And I think that should be enough. I'll have other blankets just in case, but I think that should be enough with the fly. It is 3:09, and for the past 4 hours there's been fierce winds blowing and kicking up dust, which has entered my tent and is everywhere. Basically, the dust is being blown under the rainfly and it's entering through the mesh. And it got so bad it was raining dust on my face. And I just couldn't sleep in that tent anymore. Everything in my tent, my quilt, my sleeping pad, my pillow, is covered in fine dust. So I had to retreat into the car and sleep here for the remainder. See how much sleep I can get. It's 3:10 right now. But man, these winds are fierce, and this dust, it's the dust that makes it bad. The winds actually weren't so bad because the tent is handling that, but the dust is just entering everywhere. So that's where I am. So I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. It is 8:21. I managed to get a couple hours sleep in the car. The wind has died down. It was gusting about 35-40 miles an hour yesterday. That was pretty fierce wind. So I'm gonna pack up, have some breakfast, and then go visit Ernst Tinaja. Let me show you what the tent looks like. Let's go inside. Oh, look at this. There's dust everywhere. Look at that. Man, it's horrible. Look at my pillow. See that? And the dust was coming in from there, going under the fly and through the mesh. That's how fierce the wind was. Look at that. Look at my sleeping pad. It's full of dust. Look at that. What a mess. I'm going to turn this tent inside out right now to get all this dust out. It's only half a mile to the Tinaja. There's fascinating geology at the Tinaja. I'll show you. It's just amazing what's going on there. These rocks right here are limestones, and most everything around here is limestones actually. Limestones are sedimentary rocks. That means they're deposited by water, oceans, seas, and such, rivers. Like sandstones. So when they're deposited, they're horizontal because of gravity. So if you see a sedimentary rock that's not horizontal, that means it was later moved through tectonic motion, you know, earthquakes, faults, thrusts, that kind of stuff. Like that, for example. So originally those limestones were deposited flat. And through some geologic activity, they were made to dip like that. In the Tinaja, look at these limestone formations here. And you can clearly see the stratification. fascinating geology going on here. Here's where it collapsed from over there. So these are all dipping that way. That means there was some kind of activity, tectonic activity over there that thrust them up. And here in Big Bend, that would be volcanic activity, magma and such. There's a Tinaja right there, right in the middle. It's a fascinating place. It has such a cool energy, feeling, vibe to it. So let's go around to the right. And Tinajas is a Spanish word that means rock bowl. It's a hole in the ground. There's an example of a Tinaja. Hole in the ground that collects rainwater or runoff water. But that's not Ernst Tinaja. Ernst Tinaja is right over there. Actually, let me see. Maybe I need to go down. Yeah, let's go down. And here it is. A huge bowl of water, and it always has water, it never goes dry. And you can collect water here, but for most animals, they really can't drink out of this because there's no way to get in there and get back up. And sometimes you'll find animals that have fallen in and died. Of course, if you collect water here by lowering a rope with a bucket or something like that, you need to purify it. But this water is always here. Looking back, right there. Let's go see it from the top. So I have to climb up that way. And we'll see some of the geology I was talking about. That's just out of this world. Okay. So I'm here. So this, you can see this rock is pretty slick. Smooth, I should say. That's all from the water. Yeah, and if you fall in, you're toast. So let's go from this side. Not sure how deep that is, but looking over there, it's got to be at least 6 feet deep, maybe more. There would be a nice slide if there was somewhere to get back up. Okay. Let's go over here. And look at this, here's where it really gets fascinating. So remember, sedimentary rocks are deposited flat. If they're not flat, that means they were moved by some process. And here, we see they're not flat and they're folded. So here's a fold, it goes that way, and it folds again, and it folds again. Is repeated folding. You know, something, what that tells you is something was pushing the rock from both sides, so they would fold. They can only, if you have thrust from both sides of a rock, it's going to fold. So, but the forces were massive. Look at this. It's like a V. It's amazing. Or look at this. Here it's been deposited, moved, folded, and eroded where there's a little cave. Let's go a little this way, see what's going on here. And this is what's called a pour-off in the desert, where there's a drop. And if it's, sometimes you can climb over it, but if it's tall enough, high enough, you have to climb around. If you're going upstream or coming downstream, you have to climb down somehow, climb around it. So this one looks pretty easy. You can go that way and get over it. Guys, if you're enjoying this video, please subscribe, like, and share. I would really appreciate that. Tinajas can be big and small. Here's an example of a small one. And you can see water has collected. There's dry mud right there. So in the desert, you'll find these everywhere in the southwest. It's named Ernst Tinaja for the guy who used to live here before Big Bend became National Park. There you go. I'm looking. And that's pretty deep, actually. That's more than 6 feet. I'd say about 10 feet. Okay, let's go back to the car. I hope you enjoyed seeing Ernst Tinaja and the fascinating geology that's around here. There's so much to explore. I'll show you a very deep wash that I have to drive through to get to Ernst Tinaja yesterday. It's coming up. This is a very rough road right at this wash here. But of course, nothing the Jeep can't handle. It was made for this stuff. And that was the wash I was telling you about. Well, here we are, back to the main road. I hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe, like, and share. And see you next time.